AITA for refusing to babysit my brother. When I, F28, was 20 and my brother, 15, was 8, I told my stepmother that I wouldn't babysit him ever again after an incident. When his bedtime came, I told him to finish his game on his tablet and go to bed. He refused, so I took his tablet, put it on a high shelf, and told him he could have it back in the morning if he went straight to bed. He'd already been misbehaving that night, and I no longer had any patience for him. Instead of going to bed, he got a chair and tried to reach his tablet from the shelf. So I hid it properly. My dad and stepmother came home a little while after. I still hadn't managed to get him to bed. He told them I'd stolen and hid his tablet. They asked me where I'd put it. So I told them. My stepmother got it and gave it back to him. She got pissed at me. How dare I hide his things? I told her what happened, but she told me it's not my place to punish him. So I told her if she's going to undermine my actions while I'm supposed to be in charge of him, I'm not babysitting him ever again. I have better things to do than put up with his behavior if I'm not allowed to deal with it. After that, every time they asked, I refused. Eventually, they stopped asking. They recently asked if I'd stay with him overnight while they went out of town for a wedding. I reminded them of the incident and once again told them I'm not putting up with him if I'm not allowed to do anything about his behavior. He still acts out at 15. His mother doesn't know the meaning of the word discipline. They pleaded with me because they were desperate, but I still refused. Edit. Something I forgot to add. This would have been a work night for me. I have to get up at 5 a.m., but my brother stays up all night on the PlayStation. And is very loud about it. I told them I'd consider it if they confiscated his PlayStation during. Because I don't want him disturbing my sleep. They said no. NTA. You're not obligated to babysit their kid. Not to mention he's 15, and if they don't trust him to be alone for a night, they can hire babysitter. NTA. The long game is especially delicious on this one. Make sure to take yourself out to celebrate. Clinking glasses. NTA. The punishment fit the crime. Nothing worse than taking care of entitled siblings, especially when parents always take their side, never hear you out and undermine you. Stay assertive. Don't change your decision, cause it'll let them know that when you've had enough, it's enough, and they should respect your boundaries. A 15-year-old should be able to stay on his own for a few hours, even overnight, if somebody checks in on him. Lots of babysitters are 15. But, on some level, your parents may know their coddled and indulged child is not on that level of maturity. You, now 28, are not required to indulge or coddle him. NTA. Your parents have time to seek other arrangements. NTA. So, they want you to be responsible for him. But you can't actually take action when he misbehaves? Nope. You're not obligated to babysit for anyone. Even family. And especially not under circumstances. I'm sure he would sneak out or raise hell while you were there. And it would be your fault for letting him. Even though you weren't allowed to tell him no and hold him accountable. Your dad and stepmom created this situation. They can get themselves out of it. NTA. What's even the point if babysitting if you have no authority? Your damn parents can do it themselves if they don't want anyone telling their coddled son that he's being a brat. They didn't do that to you when you were that age, did they? NTA. That's an entirely reasonable boundary. They'll figure something out, and it's not your problem. NTA. Not your kid. Not your responsibility. I totally agree with you. If I was tasked with looking after a child but was not allowed to enforce things like bedtime, I wouldn't watch that child ever again. What's the point of leaving an adult in charge if the adult isn't really even in charge? This is their problem. They should have made arrangements if it was so important to them. Or they should have treated you like a proper babysitter way back then. Let them figure it out. Absolutely 100% NTA. As a fellow oldest child, it's exhausting how we're considered the built-in babysitters. Proud of you for standing your ground and standing by your word. I'm 15 and I babysit. Why does he need one? Will he misbehave if left alone or something? NTA. The only way it would ever make sense is if all four of you sat down and went through the rules for babysitting and the behavior expected and potential punishments allowed. Nah. You are entitled to declining or accepting. They are entitled to determine their own parenting boundaries. NTA. And stick to your no. If he was a handful at 8, he is worst at 15 if he still needs babysitting. Also, 15 body is close to a man. So if you refuse him something, he can be violent and dangerous toward you. NTA. They want to make you accountable for his care without giving you the authority to enact consequences. It doesn't work like that. Good on you for staying strong. NTA. You are brilliant for standing your ground on this. You have your requirements before you will babysit. And they are not negotiable. You have every right to stand by them. If your father and stepmother are that desperate, they will say yes to your requirements. It's that simple. Also, you are an adult. Just because you are related does not mean you are an on-demand babysitting service. You have the right to say no for any reason you want. NTA. Good for you standing your ground. NTA. You set a very reasonable expectation. Your stepmother is not doing your stepbrother any favors. Next time, if you truly do not have anything to do, I'm talking you've deep cleaned all the baseboards in your house, and it is for a relatively short time. Take your daily rate and add on a pain in the ass factor and say if this is what it will run you. Plus money for food. Cash up front. Never mind, it sounds as though no amount of money is worth the hassle that you would have. Keep saying no and enjoy your peace. Info. Why did your brother need a babysitter at that age? NTA. They made their bed, they get to lay in it. NTA. No questions. No one but parents, or other legal guardians, are responsible for the care of a child. If the child is so much of a pain they can't get anyone else to volunteer to babysit, it is their issue.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. AmITheAsshole is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.